Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. So the hedges are starting to come out, the grass is starting to grow, and that is because it is starting to warm up on the farm. So the plan for today's video, guys, we're going to have a check-up on some of the fields, as well as talk about the importance of grass growth on the farm. So I hope you enjoyed today, guys. If you do, please tap that like button, subscribe to the channel, and I hope you enjoy. Cheers, guys. Right guys, so just popped onto the mule, and that is because we're going to go down to the field which I harrowed the other day, which you all saw in the video. Also the older tubs are in there, if you can see them, but we don't want to steer off the track. Yeah, we're going to check that field which I harrowed the other day to see how it's coming on. I think it's been about 10-11 days since we harrowed it, and hopefully it's gone away from that yellow colour and just started to green up a little bit. So we've just made it over to the field now to check it out, and I've got to say I'm fairly impressed. If you look across here, you can see some of the dead bits which we pulled out with the harrow, so stuff like that's been pulled out, and what it's done is allowed this fresh green stuff to come through nicely. The yellowness has definitely gone out of it, which I'm going to say the fertiliser probably helped with that too. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to fire the drone up just so you guys can see the difference of what it looked like 2 weeks ago compared to where it look now. I'll be actually quite shocked to see the colour difference. So we have now made it over to the other side of the field, guys. We'll say other side of the field, I mean up the hill, because we were down there originally, but up here there is a lot more grass growth, I'd say. As you can probably see from those drone shots too, it is looking a lot greener, although it did look like there was a little bit of bulb patch over there. That's probably just because on the drone it can be a bit deceptive sometimes, and it is definitely a lot greener. But one thing we could do with having is a little bit of rain. It does actually look a little bit like it might now, but it hasn't rained in about 3 weeks, so we definitely need some of that to get this going. This has the fertiliser and the sheaf next to the muck, so that'll put some real goodness back into the soil, especially that muck from the sheep, because just get those roots going, get the grass growing, and that will do an incredible job of just getting this field ready to boost up and go. Right, so originally the plan was now we were going to go and move the ewes and lambs, but what I'm thinking is we're going to leave that to the morning because we're getting on with the day quite a bit, and I don't like moving sheep late in the afternoon into the night because you only end up with problems. So I'm thinking is we weren't going to do this, but we're going to have a quick look at the seeds which we looked at earlier on in the spring to see how they're coming on. And then I'll catch up with you guys in the morning when we move some ewes and lambs, and we're going to do a bit more harrowing and stuff like that. So that's the plan. We'll just head down there now. If the mule starts, we're off, and then we'll check those seeds out because I'm fairly interested to see how they're coming on. So I've just made my way down now, guys, to the bottom of the farm. So in general, when I talk about the farm, there's the hills at the back and then we're flat on the bottom. This is the actual very centre of the farm we're in now. So this is the middle 10 acre. This one has been reseeded in the autumn. So this is all Italian ryegrasses that will go for haylage. As you look, as I walk through it, it's got a great, nice sward, nice and thick. One thing I will say, this has been sprayed, it has been fertilised, rolled and everything, whereas the field around at the top then, it hasn't, well, it has been ferted, it just was grazed this spring, so it'll knock it back a little bit more. Obviously this said all spring to grow, but it's a great crop of grasses even across it all. As you saw in the drone shots, there's no bulb patches apart from one little bit at the bottom of the big field where it gets really wet. this is really great and a consistent crop. So I'm going to just jump across into the other field, so bear with me, it's not too far to go. So down this dip, it is dry in here, that's one thing I'll say, we'd need some rain. This is now a field of grass that was reseeded the year before. So in here, this will be a little bit thicker because it's been down for an extra year. And one thing I will say, if you can't see the difference now between reseeding and permanent pasture up there, that's why we do it. Look at the yield you will get off this compared to that field up there. I know there is a little bit more input that goes in, so obviously you've got to plough up the money of the seed and everything, but the difference in yield between down here and up there is just dramatically different. This will actually be mown first week of June, so a lot of you will be mowing over the next couple of weeks. Well, this is going for horse haylage, so what we want to do, the grass, we want to go to seed, which means this little bit of grass down here. So this piece of grass here, guys, this is at 3-leaf stage. If you remember when I showed you that grass before, that was at 2-leaf stage. So this is the perfect time for when you want to cut it for silage. So this is when the plant is at its most nutritious, it'll have the most energy, and it'll have probably the best protein levels and all of that, because it's the perfect time to cut. But for us, we leave it a little bit later. So we want it to go to 4-leaf stage and go to head. So if you've ever been walking around the grass field and you see all the seeds on top, that is what we're looking for, because we're looking for products for the horse market, which is high fibre and low energy. Apart from some performance horse stuff like race horses, they do want a little bit more energy. But in general, that is what we're looking for, and that's why we cut this grass a little bit later. But yeah, guys, just walking back to the mule knife, I just put the camera out, you just see how thick this crop is of grass and lovely sward. Just really happy with how this is looking. So plan now, we're gonna call it a day. I'm gonna move those ewes and lambs in the morning onto a nice fresh bite. Go on, Jess, let's go. Yes, thank you. Right, guys, so we are back for day 2. As you've just seen, I popped a bag of feed in with the tractor and harrows, and that's because we're going down to the ewes and lambs. We're harrowing that field, so we'll get the ewes and lambs moved first, get all the jobs into one rather than going back and forth with the truck. That's the plan. I don't know where Josie's gone. Oh, she's over there. So head down there now. I think Dad's actually doing a big load of haylage, so it'll be cool to show you guys that. Go on, Jose. Come on. Here she is. Good girl. Good girl. Let's go. Come on, let's go. Yeah. Well, that's not a bad load on there. I think in total it can fit 144 4-foot bales. Go on, Jose, on the floor. Down there. Good girl. Right. More time wasted, but let's get harrowing. Start first time. We don't want that, yeah, we want that one. Let's go. You alright, Jose? You got a day with me today? She looks thrilled about that, doesn't she? Right, so we're now down at the sheep. Come on, here, Jose. Here, stay, stay, stay. So, plan is we're going to move these 91 ewe lambs onto the track, so they're going to graze the track down, and then we're going to move the ewes and lambs into the field there, so we've got fresh grazing. There is a lot of grass here, but there's no harm letting it recover a bit, and that track needs grazing down, so we're just trying to manage it and keep everything neat and tidy. So this is going to be interesting because I'm going to try and use Josie to do this. Josie, go on. Good girl. Go on. You can go. Good girl. Hopefully she should just bring them to me and we'll pop them down the track. Here, here, here. Stay, 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 stay. Here, come on, here. Stay, stay. Josie, stay. Stay. Go on, go on. Here, no, here to me. Here, here, here. Stay, 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 stay. Here, here, here. Stay, stay. Stay, 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 stay. Right, so that is job number 1 done. It didn't take too long because Josie, for once, actually behaved herself and she did pretty well, didn't you, girlie? So as you can see, we got the ewe lambs now on the track. There is plenty of grass to go out down here. So this track is basically land that if we want it to graze it, we can, but if not, not. But just to keep it neat and tidy, I usually chuck these on here. Hey, get back, get back. She wants a sheep. I usually chuck these on here for a few days here and there. So there, you can see there's quite a lot of grass in there for the graze at. There's actually 3 sections. So this bit, the one there, and the one we've just been through is probably what, I don't know, 400 or 500 meters of like verge. Well, it's a lot wider than the verge, probably 10 meters wide. So yeah, now to the ewes and lambs. We won't be using Josie on them because she's still a bit keen. She was good enough on them, but I just don't trust her with the ewes and lambs yet. You'll get there, won't you, one day? Well, that is just typical. Come down to the ewes and lambs, and one of the ewes has got a little too greedy. There you go, under you. Right, that's that side. Now, the rest of you come charge. I best get the bag of feed. So the plan is, bag of feed, I'll shake it, they follow me, they go into a new field. Dreams do happen sometimes. Right, you behaving? You're staying there for these. They know the game. They're coming. Come on, girls, come on! Come on! Oh yes, good girls, come on, come on! If I'm honest, I think the easy bit's going to get them in this field, the hard bit's getting them across this field into the other one. Come on, girls! Oh, I feel like the Pied Piper. Fresh grass! Come on, come on! Right, tactical sprinkle so they start feeding. Hopefully the rest come now. They're forgetting about the corn. I think they're more interested in this fresh grass. So as I said before, they're not meant to be here, but what I might do, just let them settle on here, go and harrow, and then try and push them afterwards, because normally once they just see fresh grass from them, they want to graze and they're not interested in moving. So we'll see, we'll see. So that is all the ewes and lambs out of the old field. Look at them, like 95% of the sheep in here had their heads down now. That's how much they like a nice fresh bite to eat. So plan is now, going to get harrowing, then we're going to move these over the field. Again, like I said before, it is a pain to try and move sheep that want to graze. So leave them an hour or two, then they should be much easier to move. But just looking here, the difference in grazing. So these graze this, so no. The ewe lambs grazed this about a month ago. It's been fertilised, it's been rested. Just look at the bite on this. And the field they're going on to has even more. And this is what I was on about before, guys. Grassland management is absolutely key, because we need these lambs to keep growing. If they just stunt and don't grow, it's going to cost us more later in their life, because their food conversion rate is much higher. Sorry, much lower, whichever way you want to see it. Basically, they need a lot less to eat now to get growth on. So say they eat a kilo of food now, they can put like 300 grams on. If they eat a kilo of food in 2 months' time, they'll probably only put 100 grams on weight. So it's much cheaper to get these lambs to grow now than it would be later in time. So yeah, that is that. And this field over here, it's much like that field we looked at last night before it got harrowed. So same job really. Not going to talk too much because we did a video a couple ago just about it, but you'll see there's a lot of muck over the whole field. It just needs breaking up. All this old grass needs pulling out, and then this will be a field for hay later in the summer. This isn't going to be grazed, so it's going to be rested. Take a cut of hay of this later in the year. As you can see, this is actually where the electric fence was that we did too, so that stayed up fairly well. I've had a couple of times where it's come down, but apart from that, touch wood, it's been okay. Close this gate up so you don't come follow me with the harrow, and then we'll crack on.
About to leave, already packing. Come with me, I'm not really asking. We'll get away to a place where we don't know. About to see the world in action, what we can be, life with no distractions. We'll get away, this is what we waited for.
we are well on with harrowing now. Sorry, I got a little bit distracted. I was listening to Puppy's podcast and just time flew and we're nearly done the field now. So cracking across, you can see nice stripes across the field. It's doing a good job pulling all that dead grass out. There won't be as much dead grass in here as that field at the farm just because it's been grazed recently and it's just a better layer of grass in general. But it's doing a nice job of breaking all that muck up. Like there was some fairly big clumps of muck, and just to spread it out, I'll get those nutrients back into the soil where they should be. Oh, that's a tight turn, but yeah. We'll catch up here when we're finished and I'll get the rest of those ewes and lambs, I say the rest of, we'll get all the ewes and lambs moved into the field onwards. They're all chilling now, all laid down, so should be a lot easier to move. And Josie's about asleep, aren't you, girlie? Been a productive morning, hasn't it? I've got a big 20-acre field harrowed. We've got these moved. I've got to do a little bit more harrowing this afternoon, but I'm not going to film that because I've already filmed enough of that this year. But really happy with how the grass is looking here. There's plenty for them to go at. This is regrowth from when the ewes came out, so this is the very first field the ewes got let onto. So this is all regrowth. It's been ferted. We just need a little bit of rain, as I said before on the video. But I thought I'd finish off just to have a chat about how the lambs are looking. Really pleased. I've got to say, this is the best crop of lambs I think we've ever had. So I actually got them into weigh Crovex and Heptavac again last week for their second booster, but I didn't film it because it's literally exactly the same as the video 3 weeks before. So average weight of these in this field now, 22 kilos at 8 weeks old. There are some that are majority younger than that, so 22 kilos. And the even more impressive bit to me is they are averaging 290 grams a day. So daily live weight gain of 290 grams. Really impressed. The heaviest one was 35 kilos. That's just incredible. 35 kilos at 8 weeks old. And the biggest live weight gain was actually 490 grams a day. So nearly half a kilo a day live weight gain, and that is because we're keeping this grass in front of the ewes. So the ewes are milking better than ever. The lambs are probably getting the most out of it better than ever. They're having a little bit of creep, but they're only taking less than a bag a day, so hardly anything. They don't really need it, but as I said before, the best growth is at the start of life, so the quicker we can get them to go on, the less we're going to have to pay for feed to finish tups at the end of the year. But can't be any happier, I'm not going to lie. Best these lambs have ever looked. It's the 8th year I've had sheep, and we must be doing something in the right direction. And as well as that, over half the ewes now in the flock are homebred. So just a great way to finish the video. I just thought I'd catch you guys up because I didn't do a video on that the other day. So massive thank you for watching. I hope today you can just see the importance of grass on the farm, the most important crop on the farm, because this is 25% of the price of any other feed for the same feed value, so the equivalent. So look after your grass and it'll look after you. And that's where I'm going to leave it, guys. Hope you enjoyed it today. If you did, please tap that like button. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you for the next one. Cheers, guys.